my name is Scott Berry. I'm an attorney with Berry Law Offices. This is part 4 of our Legally Speaking series on mechanics liens. And today we're going to be talking about preserving your lien. Now, preserving your lien is a two-step process. Step 1 is you need to provide or prepare and serve and deliver something called a statement of mechanics lien. If you don't do this within 120 days after your last day of work or providing material or machinery on the property, your lien is terminated and it ceases. To preserve your lien, you need to prepare the statement of mechanics lien and serve it and deliver it upon the owner of the property, either by certified mail or personally. Minnesota law states that if you serve it by certified mail and they don't accept it, the courts have interpreted and stated that it's not good service. So if you're going to certify certified mail, make sure that you give yourself enough time that if the homeowner declines to accept the certified mail, that you can then personally serve them. That's very important. The second thing you need to do is you need to record the mechanics lien statement with the county recorder or the register of title's office if the property is Torrance property. And that again needs to be done within 120 days after your last day of work on the property in order to preserve your mechanics lien. Now let's talk about your mechanics lien statement for a second here. Your mechanics lien statement must include the following elements. Number 1, it needs to include a notice of intention to claim and hold a lien on the property and the amount of the lien. It needs to include the amount that is due and owing for your labor, skill, or material that you provided, and a description of the improvement that you did, or a description of the materials, of course, that you've provided. You need to include your name, the name of the person in which the work was performed or furnished for. For example, if you're a subcontractor and you're working for a contractor, the name of the contractor. The dates when you first and last work was performed, or when those materials that you provided were provided. And again, it's important to keep a diary or some kind of spreadsheet with the dates that you're out at the property so you can document what was done, when it was done, for purposes of, again, the pre-lien statements that we talked about in episode 1 and episode 2, depending upon if you're a contractor or subcontractor, as well as the last day of work, so you can serve this mechanics lien statement within the 120-day period. You need to include a description of the property to be liened, describing the property with reasonable certainty. Now, this should be a legal description. You can get the legal description from the county recorder's office, the register of title's office. You can also call the auditor or assessor's office to get this information, but it's always better to get a deed and just get a description off the deed in the property than to include an address or to include a description from the assessor or auditor. It's better to get it again from the county recorder's office. You also need to include the name of the owner of the property when the mechanics lien statement is completed. In addition, you need to include your mailing address, as well as an acknowledgement that a copy of the mechanics lien statement personally served or served by certified mail within 120 days after your last day of work. Now, it's important to fill out, typically there's a form for this, and you can fill out that with an affidavit of service saying that you served it by certified mail or that you personally served it. Again, make sure that you allow yourself enough time, if you're going to serve it by certified mail, that it gets to the property owner, and that if the property owner does not accept the certified mail, that you can then personally serve them. And finally, this mechanics lien statement must also include a statement that the pre-lien notice was given. Now, in step 2 of preserving your lien, it's a requirement under Minnesota law that you actually commence a litigation action within 1 year after your last day of improvement in order to preserve your lien. If you don't commence a litigation action within that period of time, you lose your lien. Your lien is only good from 1 year after the last day of work that was performed. Now, Minnesota courts have stated that the last day of work is not when you come in and do minor things like put a doorknob on or screw in a light bulb, but you actually have to do something substantive. In the past, contractors or subcontractors have attempted to extend the 120-day period by not completely finishing these minor things and then coming back later and doing these minor improvements. Really what the 120-day period goes from, as well as the last day of work goes from, is some kind of substantial improvement to the property. So make sure that you're within that time frame and that you don't create some kind of dispute later down the road as to whether or not you're still making a substantial improvement. Now again, you need to commence your litigation action within 1 year after your last day of work, otherwise you lose your lien and you will have to go into civil court, and you won't be entitled to some of the remedies that are provided under the Minnesota Mechanics Lien statute, including your right to receive your attorney's fees and costs back, which isn't the case if you bring it in just regular civil court unless you have some kind of special contract with the homeowner. If you're a subcontractor, again, it's essential, and it's a very powerful tool to bring a mechanics lien foreclosure action, because then you have a direct access to the property as collateral to foreclose on and to take that property to compensate yourself for the work that you perform. Again, this is Scott Berry, and this was part 4 of our Legally Speaking series on mechanics liens. I hope you enjoyed this series, and I hope this series was informative. If you should have any questions on mechanics liens and any part of the process, feel free to contact our office.